Welcome to the Lifestyle You podcast. I'm your host and health and fitness coach, Jenna Altman, and I'm so glad that you're here. Health and fitness don't have to be that complicated. Do you want to achieve a body you're proud of, gain physical and mental energy, and grow your confidence without giving up date night with your partner or starving yourself? The Lifestyle You podcast will provide you with the tools that you need to make your health and fitness fit into your lifestyle, not the other way around. The stories, lessons, and actionable takeaways from original episodes and guest interviews on this podcast will not only allow you to break through those limiting fears and beliefs, but also find freedom and confidence in the way that you move and fuel your body so that you can live your strongest, healthiest, and happiest life. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lifestyle You podcast. Today, we are going to be chatting about 5 different healthy mindset swaps for you to make today. So this is actually a series that I did on Instagram, and the reason why I did this is because so many of us struggle with mindset, and it's honestly one of the most important things in our journeys, especially if we're pursuing health and fitness goals. You can make all of the transformations, you can make all of the physical aesthetic goals, but if your mindset is not in the right place, then you are not going to feel good about your progress. You are not going to feel good about yourself. And that's why it's so important that we do take this perspective, this mindset into account. And it's something that you'll probably see or have seen at this point in all of my content across Instagram, my email newsletters, as well as the podcast episodes. We're always kind of intertwining mindset work into this stuff. And it's something I'm incredibly passionate about. So I'm really excited to dive into this topic because I feel like people get in their own way a lot with these mindset struggles that they're having. So today I'm going to give you some swaps for you to make that will enable you to get out of your own way and not feel intimidated by the journey or let your mindset kind of get in the way. So number 1 is going to be replacing big overhaul with one step at a time. A surefire way to fail is to try to change everything at the same time. You guys know this. You've probably done this in the past. When you decide that you're going to start a new health and fitness journey, you decide, okay, I'm going to work out 5 days a week. I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to get rid of alcohol, right? We do all these big changes at the same time. And it's just really overwhelming for our bodies and our minds to do all of this at once. So instead, I encourage you to pick one new habit to implement and stick with that for a minimum of 2 weeks before adding anything else in. And this is exactly what I do with my clients as well. We always pick one thing that we're working on to start, and then slowly we just layer on habits after that. So this is a really important approach to make from the beginning because, like I said, when you throw too many things at once at yourself, then nothing's going to stick because it's overwhelming. It's really challenging, especially in the realm of behavior change, to do all of these things at once. Okay, so this is the first big step that we need to take, replacing big overhaul with one step at a time. Next, we are going to replace short-term with long-term. So this is number 2. Short-term will be replaced with long-term. And I know it does not sound sexy because it isn't. But when we approach our journey, especially health and fitness, with more of a long-term vision, that's when we really feel connected to our purpose and to our why, as to why we're here in the first place. And when we can realize that this isn't a destination and instead is a journey, and I don't want to be cliche, but that's honestly what happens here, that's where the magic happens. So no matter what path you're on, it's super important that it's something that you can consistently stick to. And this is why we approach it with that long-term lens. For so many years, so many of us have done short-term quick fixes, fad diets, challenges for 30 days, whatever that looks like. We know the short-term really, really well. And I know so many of us can also attest to the fact that the short-term never works long-term. So again, finding something that you can consistently commit to, that you can stick to for the long term. Okay? Number 3. This is replacing pebbles with big rocks. So I see this time and time again, but so many people, especially women, are focused on the wrong things. We're focused on all these minute little details that don't even add to the greater picture. Okay. So instead of sweating the little things, we want to focus on those big dial movers. And these are what I like to call the big rocks. This is what we do at Harvest Coaching. So, number one is strength training and daily movement. So, making sure that we are paying attention to the movement that we are doing both in the gym as well as outside of the gym. So, our NEAT, which is our non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is all of the movement that we're doing that is not actually related to exercise. So, this can be walking around the office, walking around the house, cleaning, things like that. Number two is eating enough nutrients. So, making sure that we are getting enough food and fuel for our bodies is really important, as well as the macronutrient breakdown of that. So are we getting enough protein? Are we getting enough healthy fats? Are we incorporating enough vegetables? Are we incorporating healthy carbs? So that's another really key component to the big rocks. Number three is hydration. So making sure that we are staying hydrated. It's really challenging to progress in a health and fitness journey if we are not paying attention to our water intake. And I know that that sounds really simple and it couldn't possibly be that easy, but it is. And if you are struggling with water intake, you will be able to get more water in as you keep practicing this habit. So keep that in mind as well. Number four is going to be quality sleep. So I know we've heard in the past, sleep is for the weak. I'll sleep when I'm dead, things like that. But sleep is quite literally the opposite of that. We need sleep to recover. We need sleep to build muscle. We need sleep to process and for our bodies to do the work that it needs to do and to properly function. So sleep is incredibly important and one of those big rocks that we've been chatting about. And the last one, which is one that most people will neglect, including myself for many years, stress management. So I know it might seem silly. I know it might feel like, well, why would I need to focus on stress if I'm pursuing a health and fitness goal? But your stress can impede on your overall health. And that is something that I did not learn until more honestly over the last 5 years or so. And it's something that I wish that I knew sooner. So really, really focusing on those things that actually make a difference. And this is why we're talking about this. If we don't have those big rocks that I just talked about in place, the pebbles will not matter anyway. Okay, so stop fretting those small little details. Stop worrying about, meal timing or pre and post workout, because those things do matter, but they won't matter until later on, until you've kind of set the foundation with your big rocks. So number four is going to be swapping diet for lifestyle. So instead of a temporary quick fix, like we've kind of talked in the past, which is typically a fad diet or something that is temporary, what if we found a way of eating that is sustainable and works for you? And instead, we can consider it a lifestyle. This is a really big transformation that you can make in your journey when you can start to realize that it's not a diet, it's not something that's restricting you. Instead, it's giving you life and it's a lifestyle that you are adopting. That's when we can be really successful. So I know that we've heard diet for the longest time. And honestly, one of the most common questions that I get is, what diet are you on? And it's honestly, I'm not on a diet. I have a lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle that works for me, that allows me freedom, flexibility, and to do the things that I love, to eat the things that I love, and still maintain a healthy body. So with that said, really want you guys to think about this concept and what you want your healthy lifestyle to look like. Number five, we're going to trade what's being taken away for what's being added. This is a huge one. So many women that I work with, and I think it's just, again, a part of diet culture where we have learned that a diet or any form of healthy habit change requires us giving up things. It requires us not being able to go out with our friends, or it requires us to pass up the dessert. And instead of worrying about what you're going to give up, what if we focused on the things that are going to be added? And by the way, you don't even have to give any of those things up, but that's a topic for another day. But what if instead we focused on the quality of life that will shift as a result of this? So with that said, thinking about the things that are going to be added, maybe we're going to have more energy, maybe we have less cravings, maybe we experience more food freedom, maybe we have a greater relationship with food, exercise in our bodies. When we can start to realize that it's less of what's being taken away and instead what's being added on to our lives, maybe that's actually even time that's being added to our lives. So this is why it's really important that we kind of take this focus away from what's being given up or taken away to what's being added. The last thing I want to close out with is, of course, our food for thought. You guys know that I love an actionable takeaway. So there were a lot of different moving pieces to this episode. So I'm going to review really quick. We're going to replace big overhaul with one step at a time. We're going to replace short term with long term. We're going to replace pebbles with big rocks, and we're going to replace diet with lifestyle, and we're going to replace what's being taken away with what's being added. So I want you to tune in to your body, tune into yourself, into your mind, and see which one of these resonates the most with you. And I want you to focus on this. I want you to pay attention to this specific mindset shift that you need to make, or mindset swap that you need to make, and apply it to your life. Okay? So I gave you a few examples throughout this episode of how you can actually do that, but curious as to what you guys come up with. So I can't wait to hear from you and hear how this goes for you. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Thank you for listening to the Lifestyle You podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star rating and review to help others discover the magic we're creating together. If there's someone in your life who could benefit from listening to this episode, be sure to forward it along to them. You can also follow me on Instagram at Jenna Ray Altman for more helpful content, resources, and good vibes. As always, thank you so much for being here.